What's good, everybody? What's going on? Please subscribe to the channel. Um, so let's get right into it. Looks like Tank and Lamont Roach are scheduled to have their rematch August 16th out in Vegas, right? And me personally, no other fight really made sense right now. You got to run that back with all the controversy in the first fight, with the knockdown and the hair gel and all of that stuff, Tank leaning out the ropes, getting his corner to wipe off his face right in the middle of the action. No knockdown counted. Uh, it got scored a draw at the end. A lot of people feel Lamont Roach won. I thought Lamont Roach edged it, even without the knockdown. I thought he edged the fight. Some key things. Lamont Roach looked incredible. He was able to take the power of Tank. Um, he was able to hurt Tank. You know what I mean? Um, it looked like when Lamont landed those big shots, it had more impact than Tank land when Tank landed his big shot, which was unexpected because Lamont has never been a KO artist. Not only that, but Lamont was coming up from 130 to fight Tank at 135. Uh, so a lot of things were surprising in that fight. You know what I mean? Um, sometimes we get certain feelings, gut feelings like, oh, yeah, Lamont's the underdog and everything like that. But Tank was overly respectful towards him and stuff like that. I get that, and we feel like that going into certain fights, but, try to put emotions and feelings out of how I think the fight is going to go. Obviously, I got it wrong in that fight, but as far as a rematch, no other fight makes sense to me. Like you can't move. There's other fights I want to see more from Tank, especially, but it doesn't make sense because most people don't even think you won that fight. So you got to run it back. So I am happy that they are running it back. Because yeah, we got Keyshawn's and the Stevensons, Shakur Stevensons, and all that. We got all these people out here, but this fight is what we need right now. And it's a lot of buzz because Lamont Roach went on a world tour doing interviews. Shout out to Lamont Roach. He did crazy amount of interviews. I think he was on everybody's platform. So I'm very happy for him because now he's definitely buzzing and he's reached another level of fame because of that performance. So I think it's great that he's getting the recognition that he's always wanted. You know what I mean? He's come a long way, so I'm happy for him. But I hope none of this is gonna go to his head because I think Tank right now, like it's been a long time since he faced some real adversity, you know what I mean? Like real trouble. I don't even think as a pro he's really faced that. We already know that Isaac Cruz went the distance to him, gave him some trouble, but he never fought a guy that was backing him down. You know what I mean? Like he has fought fighters where he's had moments, or they had moments. Like Rolly had a moment the first 3 rounds of their fight. Isaac Cruz, was able to take his power. You know what I mean? Keep coming forward. But Tank was injured in that fight. And then Tank had a couple fights that was sloppy. You know what I mean? Like he had a Gamboa fight where he looked sloppy. Mario Barrios was boxing him good for the outside for a while. But I ain't never seen Tank under pressure before. I never seen Tank look like, you know, like his body language didn't look right. He didn't look like he knew what to do. He didn't look like he was prepared for that kind of fight. And I know there was some changes there because Coach Cal wasn't like his primary coach for the fight and everything. So I think going into the rematch, Tank is gonna look at it like, damn, he took my power. I can't just knock him out when I feel like it. You know what I mean? Like I got exposed in that fight. He kind of did get exposed. I mean, listen, people have close fights. But the whole hair gel thing, the knockdown, the knee or whatever, not knockdown, but the knee, and the fact that one issue I always had with Tank, not to really compare him to Wilder because Tank is way more talented than Deontay Wilder ever was, right? But the one thing that I said about both is like, what happens when you don't knock out your opponent? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if you are in a close fight and you don't KO your opponent? You know what I mean? And that was the issue I had with this fight because Lamont Roach was the one coming forward. He looked like the stronger fighter. He looked like the bigger puncher. And and he was boxing good. His defense was decent. You know what I mean? Like his counters was good. Tank is always, in my eyes, looked underrated as a technician because we always look at the power and the durability. There, there are certain fights where he's super slippery, and he can show that he can be a more defensive fighter, right? But um, we didn't see it here. Like to me, I think Lamont barely had the advantage in every area in that fight. Barely, you know what I mean? Like I think Tank lost, but I thought it was still super close. But I just gave it to Lamont, and that's not me counting the knockdown. I just edged it for Lamont. But I think Tank, it going in this fight, it could be one of two things. Is either A, he lost the confidence because he finally fought someone that stood his ground, was able to take his power and walk him down and take the crowd away from him. You know, had him out here looking sad. So it's either A, he's going to come in this fight lacking the confidence he's always had, or B, he's going to be more motivated now and he's going to be prepared to fight someone that he can possibly lose to this time. Because I think if this fight plays out any way that it did in the first fight, Tank might not get the nod at the end of the day this time. You know what I mean? So Tank might come in way more prepared for this fight. Uh, because now he's already been in there and he already knows that he can't just knock out Roach. And if he can knock out Roach, he's going to have to work hard for it. He has to come in with a different game plan, but mentally he has to be stronger. And just know that this is not like just no cherry pick. Because I look at it as a cherry pick, and that's no disrespect to Lamont Roach. I'm just talking about the facts, bro. Like, I know he was attacking some of the channels that was not giving him a shot and everything. And I personally didn't give him much of a shot going into the fight. But respectfully, though, I wasn't dissing him or anything. But at the end of the day, a lot of people viewed it as a cherry pick because you brought him up. And we already know what the opposition at 135 was like at the time. So I think that Tank should come in this fight looking at it like, damn, I gotta win. I gotta win the the crowd back. I gotta win my fans back. I gotta win the boxing public back because people lost hope in me. And I'm not talking about the people that never liked him. I'm talking about the people that are actually fans, because a lot of fans turned against him because they didn't like his behavior. You know what I mean? They didn't like the favoritism that was being shown to him while he was in the ring that night. So people lost hope in him, and now he has to get that back. And this is why it's so important to have this rematch. So with all that being said, it's going to go one of two ways. Or Lamont might even be better. He can either let this win go to his head, and not be as hungry because now he feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. Or B, he can look at it like, all right, now I've been in there. Now I know what he's going to do. So now I'm just going to prove on everything that I did before. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just improve on that and be even better this time around. I already felt this power. I already know his hand speed. I already know the counters he's gonna do. So now I can just be better at what I already did. But I have to be better if he wants, if he's looking just to, because some of these fighters just like to be, they want to look good and when they want to be there. I say this all the time about certain fighters. They want to prove that they just belong in the elite by giving the elite fighter or the famous fighter a good fight. But does he really want to win this one? You know what I'm saying? Does he really want to win or does he want to get robbed again? Is he going to really pull? Is he going to even push harder to actually get the win? I'm not saying you got to go for a knockout, but obviously what he did in the first fight wasn't enough to get the win. Feel me? So I think this time around, where they're going to go. Is Tank going to be better? Is Lamont going to be better? They both can be better, But we just got to wait and see. I don't think that fight was no fluke with Tank. I didn't think Tank was doing what I normally see him do. He was just fighting against someone that just wanted to win more and was able to take his punches. And when that happens, that's when the fights are real tricky. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm excited for it. I need it to happen. Of course I want to see Shakur and Keyshawn and some of these guys get their shot. I'm really over the Lomachenko thing. I'm over it. I kind of want Loma just to retire or, if he wants to still get his money. But I mean, whatever, whatever he decides to do. But I'm not really hyped about that fight at that point. So I really wanted this fight. All right. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'm glad it's happening. There's no other fight that I want with Tank more right now is for him to get Lamont Roach his shot and him redeeming himself too. All right, so please subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Smash the thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.